Each month we look at our goals and we say, okay, we're not reaching our goals, or we are reaching our goals. If we're not reaching our goals, what can we do to reach those goals? We actually set goals for our staff, and we say, you know, if we grow our business by 20%, you get 2 extra days paid off. If we grow our business by 30%, you get, we can take a marketing trip to Chicago.
Yeah, we could get away.
And if we grow our business by 40%, we'll take you to a tropical destination. And the first year we did that, the things that we implemented was we implemented our bigger product lines. So we implemented the collections for the wall. We implemented silent auctions. We started advertising at silent auctions.
And we did specialty sessions as well. The Rockin' Baby, and we created a whole new product line of new specialty sessions centered around, like for little babies, Rockin' Baby was like a 3, 6, 9, 12-month book. We did an iPod session for the youngsters, like it's like between the ages of 8 and preteen. And then we did Posh Kid, which is more of our urban line. And so we had a huge launch party at the studio open house and opened up these new opportunities to clients. And you know, we're very much event driven. We try and create a lot of events to kind of get people talking, create buzz. When you create buzz, you just create a positive vibe.
So in 2004, our business was 75% weddings, 25% portraits. And we wanted to switch that. We wanted to be 75% portraits and 25% weddings, which is what we are now. So this was the first year we set the goal, and I set it for the staff, and that was the growth in our portrait business. If we grew our portrait business by 20%, 30%, or 40%. And much to our surprise, our portrait business grew by 96% that year. And so it just proved to us that when you set the goals and you actively work towards making them happen, you can grow to places that you absolutely cannot if you do not do that. And I kind of correlate it to when I teach to photographers about, you know, if you live on the East Coast and you decide one day you want to get to the West Coast, you're going to take your kids to Disneyland. You have every passion, every desire to get to Disneyland. You want it more than you even know. And so you get your kids up and you say, kids, we're going to Disneyland. And you get in the car and you just say, we're going to drive. You don't create a map. You don't create any way of getting there. You just say, this is where we're going, and I want it so bad I'm sure I'll get there. A week later, when you wind up in St. Louis, the kids want to know why they never made it to Disneyland. To me, that's like photographers that say, I want to be successful. I want a successful business. They want it as bad as they can taste it. But if they don't make a roadmap of how to get there, they're not going to wind up there. And then in the same scenario, if you tell your kids we're going to Disneyland and you print out your directions from MapQuest, but you never look at the directions, and you say, I want to get there, I've made the roadmap to get there, but some genders tend to say, I don't need to look at the map.
Females, usually. Females.
Yeah, whatever. And so this time you might wind up a little further, but you're still not going to get there because you never looked at the roadmap. And in reality, in real life, thank you, honey, it's been driving me crazy. If we did print out those directions and we were driving across America, how often would you look at that roadmap? Like every time you were taking a turn, every time you got to the next place, you'd be, okay, where do I need to look next? And that's how we run our business. We run our business like we create the roadmap at the beginning of the year, and each week, each month through the year, we're looking at the roadmap, making sure we're on the right track. And many times we're not. We've taken a wrong turn. Okay, so now we can turn the business around and get headed in the right direction. And we may have lost one day of vacation, but we didn't lose the whole thing because we were tracking and figuring out where we were headed and making every effort to get there.
We always have a pulse on our business. I mean, at a touch of a button right now, I could take you to the computer and we could show you our year-to-date sales in every category, every product line, and what's working and what's not working. And like when Julia says marketing, we're very knowledgeable about what marketing did not work and what marketing did work. So that way, when you plan for that following year, you know what you're doing. You're not just kind of aimlessly going through the night and just pinning the tail on the donkey and wondering what's going to work and what's not going to work. We know that we're not going to do this marketing with this particular company or this particular thing because it didn't work last year. And sometimes you have to give things 1 to 2 years to marinate, in essence. And we've done that with certain things like a mall display or those types of things where we've let it sit for a couple of years or 2 years or 3 years and then finally see the benefits of it. To finally see that, sometimes photographers
about a year.
Photographers will pull the plug within a year and say that's not working. Well, sometimes you gotta. We have found that it's a very interesting statistic that we kind of came up with as we kind of meet with advisors on a quarterly basis, and it was that for every phone call that comes in, it typically costs you about, was it $200? About $200 to have that phone call with that client. It was very interesting to really think about that when a client calls, what is it actually costing you to pick up that phone?
What did it cost us to get the client
to contact us?
So every prospective client is money that we've already spent that we need to work as hard as we can to turn it into a session because we've spent a lot of money to get them to finally pick up that phone call.
And I think we figured out it'd be about $200 per phone call. So we like hearing the phone call ring, but then we're also thinking, okay, what do we need to do to get these people into the door to experience this? Because you can sell yourself, but we like to think that the space can sell itself as well. But we always know our numbers. We use Successware. We will stick by Successware in that respect. That it gives us our cost of sale. It's our scheduling software. It's our planning software. It's our tracking software. It's the pulse of this business. Pricing. It is the pulse and the heartbeat of this business. And it's not cheap, but we have found that it's made us more money by having the knowledge.
I think we consider it the steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's what helps us drive our business in the direction we want to go.
Yeah.
It's what creates the roadmap. We put the roadmap in, and then it tells us if we're hitting the roadmap.
Yeah, we've been on that particular software for probably 12 years.
10 years.
10 years, and it's been vital. I mean, the things that we know about our business that most divers wouldn't know just blows me away, and we can punch it up in a heartbeat, and to be able to see those and then act upon it or react upon it has been to us has been that big brother that kind of helps you fight off the bullies, so to speak. But not that I ever had bullies, but it kind of helps us know what's going on in our business. And that way we can work two things. You can either work in the business or you can work on the business. We try to work on the business. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work. But for the most part, we're trying to work on the business.